Year-old son said, "So what's the point of this thing tonight?" And I said, "Well, we're there to talk about Compass and to get people excited about all the things that we're doing and to let them know what's happening." And he said to me, "You know, I think they'd like you better if you just let them go home and watch the World Series." So on those words of wisdom from a 14-year-old, I do want to just tell you how grateful I am and how much we appreciate the fact that you did come out tonight. And you will get to come and watch the rest of the World Series. But thank you so much for coming. I also want to introduce my board chair. We have a lot of board chairs of our clients here tonight, and I'm sure you're all really terrific people. But I have to tell you, I have the best board chair, and I'm very happy to introduce Cassandra Hanley, who's going to say a few words also.
Hello, thank you, Suzanne. Good evening, and thank you again to everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you to Ann and Steve very much, as Suzanne just said, for hosting us this evening, as well as our hosts Sally and Tom and Eric and Evelyn. I really appreciate everyone coming out this evening. I'm Cassandra Hanley. I'm the board chair of Compass. This is my 7th year working with Compass, not as board chair, but with Compass. And I started as a project leader working on a board development project for a charter school in DC. And since I've done funding strategies and other board development work, and now I've been working with the board. And this year, for the first year, I am back on a project, my first year in several years, and I'm working on the Friends of the National Arboretum project, which is a strategic partnership that we're working on this year. I'm very excited. We had our volunteer orientation the other night, and some former volunteers were speaking to the incoming volunteers and talking about their Compass experiences, and they coined a term, Compass junkie. And so I think, and they were referring to themselves because they come back year after year, and I think I definitely fall in that category. And so I just want to talk a little bit, very briefly, I promise, to everybody just about what Compass is, for those of you who aren't Compass junkies like the rest of us. Compass was started after 9/11 by 5 Harvard Business School graduates who wanted to come up with a way to give something back to the community. And they got 5 of their friends, they were 5, they got a bunch of their friends, they found 5 nonprofits that they wanted to work with, and they got together with them and tried to find a way that they could help, with their business experience, help these nonprofits. And out of that grew Compass. And we've grown every year. We've added more volunteers, more projects, more structure. So that today we have 27 nonprofit clients this year in the class of 2011, our 10th class. And we have over 200 volunteers, and we turned away over 200 volunteers this year. So what do we do? Compass staffs teams of volunteers with a project leader and a deputy, typically about 8 people, and we spend the next 8 months, these teams working, consulting, doing pro bono consulting in board development, funding strategies, strategic alignment, or strategic planning. We specialize in nonprofit management challenges. The work we do is intended to drive nonprofit success over the long term by helping our clients address their most critical needs. We're successful because we spent a lot of time over the last 10 years developing our methods for selecting our clients, for selecting our volunteers, and trying to make sure that we create the right match, and then supporting our clients and our volunteers through this process. And tonight's cocktail party is actually part of that support process, trying to, bring in the our client boards and make sure that they understand what we do and getting to know each other. Another key to success for a Compass project is board involvement, and that's why it's crucial. We're very excited that you're all here tonight. That way you can learn more about Compass and the journey you're about to embark on. So before I turn the floor over to our speakers, who are not me, I want to offer one piece of advice. Tell your boards to get to know your teams. They are a real resource, both for the knowledge and the advice they're going to bring to this project, but then afterwards. They are future volunteers, they are future donors, and they are future board members. We had 11 volunteers go on to the boards of clients last year. So, make sure you reach out and learn all about them. First, I'd like to introduce Joan Burns, who is the Executive Director of Class Act Arts. They were one of our projects last year. As Class Act Arts Associate Director from 1996 to 2005, Joan helped shape the organization's mission and scope of educational and community arts outreach activities. Prior to that, she spent 10 years as a national account executive with J. Walter Thompson Advertising. She served on cultural art committees and panels at local, regional, and county levels. and she chaired the Cultural Arts Committee of the Montgomery County Council of PTAs. She currently serves on the Steering Committee of Arts Education in Maryland Schools Alliance, and she holds a BA from Colgate University. Joan, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Hi. As Cassandra said, I was the lovely beneficiary of a Compass team last year, and we did a funding strategy project. I was asked to address kind of what happened with that. We entered the application process a year ago thinking that we needed to focus on earned revenue because foundations had stopped giving as much support as we wanted. We didn't know where the donors were, and so maybe we should refocus our direction at trying to figure out how to get more earned revenue. Well, the Compass team came in, all 8 incredibly smart, gung-ho folks, and immediately flipped our project around. And they said, we've been doing comparables, and guess what? You're ahead of most other arts organizations like you. And so let's focus on contributed support instead. So even though we thought we had a particularly great project in mind, because they were so smart and so committed to making our project successful, they were able to turn us around and really delve in for 6 months looking at contributed support. Out of that, I'm getting ahead of myself. They interviewed every member of our board. They interviewed stakeholders. They interviewed staff members. They really bugged my financial manager for a lot of background data and produced all kinds of bar graphs and charts with trend lines that we had never had the time or the capacity to produce. By the time the project ended in June, we had formed a terrific bond as a comprehensive team. These Compass volunteers became an integral part of our organization in the course of the process because we were so welcoming to bring them on site and to be part of what we were doing and what we did. They came to every board meeting, and they came to experience some of our arts programs that we facilitate out in the community. They really got to know who we are and what we do. And I think that is a big takeaway for you guys because you really want them to understand everything there is that you can share which will produce the best product that you can possibly get out of a project like this. The interesting outcome of the project is apparently we're currently the prize-winning organization. I was able to recruit 3 of my Compass volunteers to serve on my board, including the project leader, which is, I think, a particular coup. They were all elected at our September board meeting, and they went around the room, all the new board members that were elected that night went around the room and explained a little bit about themselves and their background. And one of the Compass volunteers was very cute. She said, you know, as a Compass team member, we're really good at giving advice. And now we kind of have to do it. So let's see how that goes. So there are many of the recommendations that we were able to implement right away. There were also a lot of recommendations that are going to take a while to implement. And so it's both short and long term that our relationship with this project will have its long-lasting effect. So I'm very excited for all of you. It's a terrific year ahead. Get your hands dirty with these guys. I mean, dig in deep and get the most you possibly can. They're incredibly smart. Oh my goodness. They entered the conversation. I figured I'd have to give them a lot of background. They entered the conversation up here, and we went from there. I couldn't have been more impressed with the team that I had, and I know all the teams that are represented here tonight with team leaders are equally fabulous. So I wish you all the best, and if you have any questions later, I'm happy to answer any questions. So.